So it looks like some in the media have finally had enough of that certain Aquaman starlet, and man, they are taking her to task, and it is glorious. You and I, we are going to talk about this wreckage, and that is exactly what it is, too. They are wrecking her and beyond. Oh, fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. Yeah, let's just get right into this. I mean, it is good.
Look, here's the bottom line. For this woman to come out and say it's a setback for women, I think she needs to understand one thing, and that is that what she did was harmful to real victims of domestic violence.
That is a profound statement, too. You notice she didn't say women. She didn't say men. She said real, that's a key word there, real victims of DV. This person has tried to weaponize repeatedly women. She's been doing that since 2016. She's held up the flag, and people, they have resoundingly listened to her too, which is disgusting because, again, she has done real damage to real victims of DV. Continuing.
And I'm sorry for saying it again. I started the first domestic violence unit in the nation. I have dealt with battered women for 30 years. As soon as she started, it was clear she was not the victim. She was the abuser.
That's exactly it, too. When I looked through this case, and I've spent a lot of time going through this case, years, in fact, the one thing that stood out to me, the one thing that kept me going and resoundingly said that he needed a win here was because you could tell that she was the aggressor. She was not the aggrieved. You could hear it in her own words. You could hear it in his, too. But more than that, you could hear it in the stories that she told. I mean, when she would tell these stories, you could see that she might have lifted those stories from somebody. She might have actually gotten them from real survivors. But when you put it all together, when you looked at the fact that she had no evidence of any type of medical association whatsoever, she's never had to get help, yeah, you don't just walk away from those types of stories and live to tell the tale. You can't do all of that stuff and then just go inside and sleep it off and then tell your psychiatrist later. Let's continue.
And Johnny Depp had lawyers who could take her on. This Camila Vasquez was right on target with her. The tape...
That's another thing as well. Most people that have something pointed at them like this, they can't stand up and they can't speak for themselves. They don't have the money. If you look at what JD has had to do, he's had to hire a very effective team. That started with Adam Waldman, by the way. He's the one that put all of this stuff together. And you know what? I mean, when you look over time, you look at all of the effort, all of the time, all of the consideration. We are talking tens of millions of dollars just so he could have that decision you saw. Most people, they cannot afford to do that. So that's why this is not a celebrity case. This isn't about Hollywood. This is about someone that needed justice. Continuing.
Recordings where she said, Johnny, you going to be a baby? Are you going to tell everybody I didn't hit you hard enough? It was difficult for this man to make a decision.
That's actually... It even lessens, because when you see what was said there, she actually said, tell them, tell the world, Johnny, I, Johnny Depp, am a victim of DV. See who believes you. She talked about her size versus his size. No one would believe that I could do this to you. Yeah, I mean, she called him out. She said that the world wouldn't believe, and it took 6 long years and tens of millions of dollars to finally get people to say, you know what, yeah, we do believe, we do. But we had to get past those people that were telling us just part of the story. Continuing.
To put his whole life on the table, but he had nothing to lose. And when they said to him, what have you lost as a result of what she did? He said nothing short of everything.
I thought that was a very profound statement. That's exactly what he said on the stand, too. What have you lost? Nothing short of everything. We're not just talking about a career hit either. I mean, he lost a lot of money because of this. The money, though, I mean, that's just a piece of it. When you're talking about reputation, imagine what this did to his reputation. Still does, in fact, because you see a lot of the media, they're still weaponizing. You have politicians out there that are doing the same thing as well. It still hits him there. He's talked about what that did to his kids. I mean, again, you can't undo that. Not at all.
And so she tried to promote herself as being part of the Me Too movement, that here I am, a woman who's being abused. And she said, the defense was, we didn't know if it was about Johnny Depp. Are you kidding? 2 years earlier, she tried to get a temporary restraining order against him, and it was in all the newspapers.
That's exactly it, too. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, knew that it was about him. They're talking about the op-ed. She wanted to pretend that thing, it wasn't the thing that did damage. In fact, she was trying to say, years ago, when I first started up these stories about him, that's when I destroyed his life. I mean, not now. No. I destroyed it earlier. And the courts, they said, no, you know what? When you decided to sit down, you decided to co-opt other people's tales. I'll go on record and say that's what you saw here. You could hear other people's tales coming out of her mouth. When she decided to do that, put pen to paper, point it his way, that's when Hollywood decided to pay attention, and it cost him pirates, and it cost him so much more.
But she was impossible to believe. And I would tell a jury as a judge, if you find that one witness has testified falsely with respect to one fact, you are free to disregard their entire testimony. This woman lied over and over again, and I feel free to say that on television.
That's true. I feel like you could say that as well. Again, you get a lot of flack for saying that too. How dare you say that the person lied? Look at their mannerisms. I mean, you see them playing right here in the corner. Look at the mannerisms. You can tell none of this, it is real. And again, the biggest factor through all of this, I've said this for years, is the fact that this person, they may have talked to psychiatrists, maybe mental health professionals who are your advocates. They're always going to listen and believe. But as far as medical professionals, none of them were ever consulted. Continuing.
She lied. She was a liar. She was the abuser, and he was the victim. And let me just say one more thing. For him to take on this burden, which is not only proof that he was defamed, that she was talking about him, but that she was malicious. That jury had to really see right through her to say she was malicious. And they found for him $10 million compensatory, $5 million punitive damages. That's to punish you, Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. Now, punitive damages are locked down at a certain level. But, yes, they're saying $10 million plus $5 million they felt as punishment for lying about this, for creating a hoax narrative. That should have spoken to everyone. Instead, again, we have lawmakers out there that are trying to weaponize, going after people like myself. You have the media. I have somebody specifically in NBC pointing their finger directly at me, not at other people covering, directly at me saying, you're going to go down. Why? Because people actually listen there, and they don't like that at all. That says a lot, doesn't it? Continuing.
For taking on this guy's life and destroying his life so you could be part of the Me Too movement. Don't give me this stuff, it's a setback for women. You do not represent women. You represent the worst of women who try to falsely blame men. And
That's it. That's it right there. If you're talking about representing, they represent an individual. That individual, I no more believe all. I will not believe all of anyone, but you know what? I will never, ever blame all either. That's not a representation of women. That's the representation of one person. One person that decided to go out. They decided to weaponize a tale. Again, you have people in the media that are sick of this. They've been calling it out. And it doesn't matter what side of a political divide that you sit on. Everyone should be able to come together. They should be able to agree on one fact alone, that we need to see justice for the aggrieved. Anyway, let me know what you think about all of this stuff. And as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. Cannot say that enough. Let me know what you think in the comments, too. Appreciate you here. Check out the links if you want to help out. But again, you being here, that is the biggest help of all. Thank you. Appreciate you. Ending here. See you soon.